G'day, I'm Rob Malicki from the Global Society and I hope you're going great today. And today we're going to get into some of the nitty gritty of some of the most powerful parts of Ontraport. So let's start by logging into your account and jumping straight into the contacts object right here. So in contacts, we have the ability to completely customize the way that we display the information for our contacts. And as we remember from the last video, contacts are human beings. So every person has one contact record. So everything you see here, it can actually be customized. All of these fields and all of these names can all be customized, and we're going to do that inside the settings for the contacts object. So when I hover here over the contacts object, you'll see I get an item that appears in the menu, which is called settings. So let's select settings, and I can click right here. The very first item in settings is the field editor. So let's click on the field editor and jump in and see what we've got as an option. Now, one of the things to remember about adding fields inside Ontraport, and in fact inside any database, is there's a limit to the number of fields that you can add. So what we don't want to do is to just start adding fields for absolutely everything, like checkboxes for every single little thing, because that means our database actually might get too big, which may make it slower to load and might actually mean that the database is too big to actually use. So we need to be careful about the fields that we create, and I'll talk in a future video about how to know when to use custom fields, which is what we're going to create right now, or when to use tags, and tags is a completely another topic that we'll also address. But here, if we do want to add another field, it's as simply as jumping into the settings part of the contacts object, and in this case we can just click anywhere where it says add field, and here we can choose the different type of fields. So whether it's a checkbox, a country, a price, a numerical field, a list select. A list select is like a multi-select where you have just different options. So similar to a drop-down field where we can add options, so option A, option B, option C, option D. We can say if that field is required. So if it's a mandatory field in every record, you can click that box. I'm just going to call this test field. I'm just going to hit save. And what you're going to see is that straight away I have my test field appears here. The other thing that I'm able to do is actually add new sections. So here at the bottom of this screen you can see I can add an entire new section, which is then untitled. I can call this test section, and then I can add fields within my new section. The other thing that we can do is then drag and drop these different sections around. So I can drag that into a completely separate module. I can likewise drag individual fields around, either between, inside this actual section itself, or I can drag that field to a completely separate section altogether. So that is a very brief introduction to adding fields inside the contacts object in Ontraport. And the good news is that if you have custom objects, which as an automated client you have custom objects in your account, the process is exactly the same for adding custom fields in any other object. So let's say I've got my organizations and I want to add a new field in my organizations records. I just go to the field editor inside that object and I add it right there. So jump in there into your account and practice adding a single field, review the different types of fields that are available, and practice adding a custom field to your contacts object. And I'll see you in the next video.